So when this term is negligibly smaller comparing with the other term containing s, or say grad s whole square by 2 mu, then the quantum mechanical equation of motion is exactly identical with the classical equation of motion. Or the only difference that the whole thing quantum mechanics can account for is in terms of, say, this term h cross by I del square s by 2 mu. So now the question is, can you neglect this term? Answer is of course not, because this term containing h cross as you know is of the order of, say, 10 power minus 34, 1.38 into 10 power minus 34. It is of course negligibly smaller, but it is still finite, and you cannot neglect this term in the case of those systems whose del square s by 2 mu, or their contribution to this one is of the order of, say, h cross. That is particularly important in the case of atomic and subatomic systems, where we most often make use of quantum mechanics. And this concept is nothing new as well. We already know that the basic fundamental principles that demanded quantum mechanics are the uncertainty principle and the de Broglie's concept of matter wave. In both these fundamental principles, we have already seen this quantity h, or say h cross. It is of course the finiteness of this Planck's constant that make quantum mechanics a necessity. So we cannot omit it. However, in the limit, this term largely exceeding this one, h cross by I del square s by 2 mu, then this equation turn out to be, or tends to be, the classical equation of motion. Or in the limit, del s whole square by 2 mu much greater than h cross by I del square s by 2 mu, that is 2 mu vanishes. Del s whole square is much greater than h cross del square s in terms of the magnitude. That means again, grad s is already, we have seen that it is momentum. So grad s whole square is momentum square, much greater than h cross. Del dot grad s is del square s. So this is del dot p, as p equal to grad s. So once p square is much greater than h cross times the divergence of momentum, then quantum mechanics and the classical mechanics predict one and the same thing. Or quantum mechanics, or equation of motion in quantum mechanics, turn out to be the classical equation of motion. However, this approximation, or say this criterion, will be valid in the case of macroscopic systems only. In the case of quantum mechanical systems, you cannot neglect this contribution h cross del dot p, so that this equation of motion will be valid as a different equation of motion, unlike what predicted by, or contradicting to what predicted by, classical mechanics, with this much part for the equation. So this equation will be valid. This necessitates the quantum mechanical action S to be written in terms of a sum series in h cross by I. And this series may be written as a, making use of this approximation, this may be written as quantum mechanical action S equal to S0, where S0 is nothing other than the classical action that include the 0th power of h cross, or that is the one and only term devoid of h cross, plus h cross by I S1 plus h cross by I whole square S2 plus etc. So the overall quantum mechanical action will be a sum series in terms of different powers of h cross by I. But generally we will be satisfied with the term up to the first power of h cross, so that we make an approximation for the quantum mechanical action as S equal to S0 plus h cross by I S1. So with this action, we have the quantum mechanical action just one step ahead of the classical action. It is exactly this is why the WKB approximation method is referred to as the semi-classical approximation. The classical approximation for action is S0 is equal to S0. That include constant term, not constant term, that include 0th power of h cross, which is then a function of position and time only. And in the WKB approximation, we take the format of the quantum mechanical action as say S0 plus h cross by I S1. So this is also an approximation. There are higher order terms, of course, but you know that h cross itself is a very meager quantity. Then higher powers of h cross will be further smaller again and again. For the time being, h cross itself is of the order of 10 power minus 34. Then h cross square will be of the order of 10 power minus 68, whose contribution will be definitely negligible. So we will be contented with the format of the quantum mechanical action being, say, this one S0 plus h cross by I S1, and hence this approximation method is one step ahead of the classical approximation and hence is known as semi-classical approximation. Now we will see the criteria for the validity of the approximation. This we have already come across while discussing the principle of WKB method. We have seen that the WKB method is valid when this criterion is satisfied. Grad S whole square is much greater than h cross del square S. That is, grad S whole square much greater than h cross del square S. We have seen that momentum P equal to grad S. So we substitute grad S equal to P. Then P square is dot product of momentum vector with itself, which is nothing other than the square of the magnitude of momentum, that is much greater than h cross del square S. That is del dot grad S. Grad S is nothing other than, say, P. And we have already seen that WKB method is suitable for one-dimensional problems, or we have already mentioned that WKB method is suitable for one-dimensional problems. In one dimension, we take this along, say, as usual, x direction. Del dot P then has the meaning of dP by dx. Rate of change of momentum with respect to change in position. So we have a dynamical system that is moving along the x direction. As it is moving, it will have a change of momentum, because for moving the object, a constant force needed to be acted on it. A force is nothing other than the measure of rate of change of momentum with respect to time. As this move, then of course there will be a change in momentum. Let P be the momentum at an initial position, say x, and at a different position, say x prime. Let P prime is the momentum. Then delta P by delta x is P prime minus P by x prime minus x. This has the meaning for this term, say dP by dx. So P square much greater than h cross dP by dx. This is the criterion for WKB being applied. Or we take this term to the right side, so that I will be writing this greater than in terms of, say, less than, much less than. Already h cross is there, P square is taken to the right side, and I have put one P under h cross, and another P is written under dP by dx. So this criterion become h cross by P dP by dx by P much less than 1. As you know, h cross by P is nothing other than the de Broglie wavelength associated with this moving particle. So we mark it as a lambda. Lambda into dP by dx by P is much less than 1. Once this condition is valid, you can apply the WKB approximation. Now, what does this condition verbally tell you? Lambda is the de Broglie wavelength of the particle. P is the instantaneous momentum of the particle, and dP by dx is the rate of change of momentum with respect to position, or the rate of change of momentum as the object moves. Once this product is much less than 1, this means that once the object is moving, or of course, once an object is performing a dynamics which is such that as it moves over a distance equal to the de Broglie wavelength associated with that particle, then the change in momentum upon covering this much distance over the instantaneous momentum should be negligibly smaller. Once this condition is satisfied, you can definitely apply WKB method. So WKB method is applicable to those one-dimensional systems in which the fractional change in momentum over the instantaneous momentum over 1 unit of de Broglie wavelength associated with that moving particle is much smaller. Once this condition is satisfied, WKB approximation method could be used. You can find an analogy for the criterion for validity of WKB with the criteria for geometrical optics. See, in geometrical optics, or you will be applying geometrical optics. Of course, light will be following a wave motion, but in geometrical optics, we will be representing this in terms of a ray. This approximation is valid if and only if the fractional change in the refractive index suffered by the light upon covering 1 unit wavelength is negligibly smaller. Once this condition is satisfied, that is the fractional change in the index of refraction suffered by the moving light wave over 1 unit wavelength of light, then you can consider this wave motion of the light as an extremely thin pencil of light, and such an extremely thin pencil of light is usually referred to as a ray of light. So it is under this assumption we will be considering a wave motion as a ray. Yes, an exactly similar approximation is there for the validity of WKB approximation as well. The fractional change in momentum over 1 unit de Broglie wavelength associated with the particle must be negligibly smaller. Once this condition is satisfied, you can have the quantum mechanical action associated with the system as one step ahead of the classical action, and such an approximation method is referred to as the WKB approximation. On the next video, we will derive a general expression for the WKB wave function. Then we will make some conclusions about the systems to which WKB could be applied.